The new 100.9 The Cat, number one for New Country. I'm Pete Kelly, and thank you so much, Raelynn, for calling in.
Of course.
So I've been a big fan of you since Team Blake back on The Voice, and so it's cool to be able to have a chat with you. And I want to make sure I started first with someone who's actually even a bigger fan than I am. Unfortunately, she can't ask the question herself, but one of your biggest fans, her name is Abby, and she's turning 12 years old next month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's been a huge fan of yours since she was 9 years old, and she listens to you all the time. And her favorite song of yours is Love Triangle. She says that it really resonates with her and her mom and her whole situation. And she actually just recently tried out at her school's talent show singing that song. So she wants to know what inspired you to write that song.
Well, what inspired me was just the emotions that I felt in my parents' divorce, and just really, you love your parents so much, but it doesn't matter if what your parents are going through. It's hard. Divorce is just hard on families in general. And so I wrote Love Triangle from my perspective of my parents' divorce and how it felt to be stuck in the middle of the two people that you love the most.
So was there anything that kind of helped you through the times when you were really missing your mom or dad when you're with your other parent?
It's there was always times where I wanted to be with my mom. There's always times I wanted to be with my dad, but I always just knew that that's kind of how it was going to be, and those times I remember just kind of, figuring it out, and just when I was with my dad, I would just really enjoy the time. When I was with my mom, I would just really enjoy the time together.
Yeah, and it's definitely difficult to kind of balance back and forth and just figure out everything. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from that.
Thank you.
And speaking of balancing time, I know that your husband Josh joined the military after you guys got married. So now, how long has he been deployed for?
Well, he's not deployed right now. He just got done with basic training, so he was going through training. It's about 15 weeks where we don't really get to communicate, so that was hard. But yeah, it's definitely a new journey. He told me about a year and a half ago that he wanted to do it, and it was something that's been on his heart. And so, as his partner in crime and his wife, I have to support him in it, and I'm so excited for him. He just, it's because of men like my husband that we don't have drafts and stuff like that. So I'm very, very thankful for our servicemen and women.
Of course, there's no way, even though it's really hard to be away from him, I'm sure, when you guys are away, it's obviously something that you can't say no to or something that you can't be selfish about it because what he's doing is so great for our country.
And so selfless, yes.
Yeah. And finally, your new album, WildHorse, I want to make sure I touched on this. It came out just a couple months ago, and I know you'll be performing a bunch of it at our New Music Showcase coming up this Thursday. But from that album, is there one song in particular that stands out as maybe extra special or personal for you?
Well, I love Diamonds. It's a song that I wrote about Josh, and I got the idea when I was just looking at my ring. I was like, there's so many rings in the world. There's so many, some people get their ring from a pawn shop. Some get theirs from their grandmother. Some get, a $20,000 ring. But a diamond is just a diamond until you put it on the right left hand.
Yeah.
It's not about the ring, but it's about the love behind it. And I think that's one of my favorite songs because I always think of, how much Josh means to me. And it's been a great song to play out live, too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Raelynn. And
Of course. Thank you for talking to me.
yeah, and we're so excited to see you this Thursday for our New Music Showcase at Vapor because it's going to be so cool to be able to see you in person. And obviously, you're incredibly talented, so it's going to be great to have you along and introduce you to a lot of people here who might not have met you yet.
Well, we're going to have a blast.
That sounds great to me. So thank you so much.